Caitlin Clark was not happy with the refs after the game against the Aces. Give the Aces some credit. They scouted Caitlin well. They had tried to take away her move to the left that she likes to use to get to her step back three, trying to force her to go to the right. Now, she's been very effective driving to the right and finishing all year, but they also did a nice job in that in-between area, taking away some of those short roll passes she likes to make. Clearly, that was on the scouting report. All good. You're playing the back-to-back defending champs. Clark also struggled with her shot from the outside, but the refs are starting to become a bit of a story, and that's not going to impact her three-point shot. She just missed shots. But it is a recurring theme now, the frustration Caitlin Clark has with some of the officiating. And if you recall, at the beginning of the year, a lot of it was, they're going to be physical with her. You got to get used to the physicality of the league. And it doesn't feel like that is course corrected in the sense where any physicality from her is called a foul. Any, screen set for her is called a foul. A lot of times it leads to a three that she makes that doesn't count because they're calling a foul on the screen for the Fever. And she's not exactly getting that superstar whistle that would send her to the charity stripe over and over again. Maybe talking about it publicly can help. This is what Clark said after the game against the Aces.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Chelsea didn't guard me a ton, maybe a couple times. Jackie was usually the defender that was matched up on me, or when Colson came in. And honestly, they're all really good defenders. They're physical, they're strong. The offensive fouls are definitely surprising at times. I feel like I do get held and get quite a bit of contact throughout the games, and then you get hit with some of those when you take some contact and give contact back. It is what it is. I mean, I don't know. Like, apparently they see something different, and then we have to use our challenge to try to not let AB have a fifth foul in the third quarter that basically takes her out of the game. We lose a challenge, we lose a timeout, so that's tough as well. But I mean, they're going to be physical. They're going to do it again. It worked. But that's what I should expect at this point. That's kind of what every team does. I think I can use my quickness a little bit better, absorb a little more contact, set up cuts a little bit better. I thought overall I got a little bit tired and wasn't moving as fast tonight. So definitely will be a focus point on Friday.
So, she handled that diplomatically, but clearly is frustrated about it. And, the strategy, as it should be, is going to be to rough her up away from the ball, to keep her from getting open, even when she has the ball, to get up into her airspace and everything like that. That's defense. That's what you should do with a great player. But she's saying she's not getting that reciprocated all the time. So I think that's where the frustration is going to come in from Caitlin Clark. And to be honest, Christy Sides, that's, she should step up. Christy Sides, in some of those moments, needs to be a vocal. You saw Becky Hammond lose her in the game. You saw Becky Hammond go nuts and lose it and get a technical. It's been a minute since Christy Sides did something like that. She did it earlier in the year after it took a while. I think it's about time, especially before the playoffs start, where the win or the loss isn't really of that much consequence as much as the message that it could send. So I wouldn't mind Christy Sides getting herself teed up or even thrown out of a game in order to make a point going into the postseason, because the Fever really don't have a margin for error. They're really ahead of schedule, right? I think it's fair to say they're ahead of schedule. This is not a team that we expected to clinch a playoff berth early. This is not a team we expected to start talking about championships around or anything like that. And it's still a team that has some roster holes, or else we wouldn't be going, why are Christy Wallace and Katie Lou Samuelson in the game? When there's not that many options. You've got the four. You've got Clark, you've got Boston, you've got Mitchell, you've got Hull. That's it. Those are the four reliable players. The rest of it is a crapshoot. Who knows what's going to happen with Alyssa Smith on any given game, possession, whatever. Temi Fagbenle sometimes helps out with hustle, rim running, defense, but isn't a scorer, has struggled catching the ball at times. Erica Wheeler's actually done a nice job in her spot minutes, but Caitlin Clark's basically playing the entire game. Christy Wallace is the best physical replacement for Alexi Hull in the event Hull is removed from a game for whatever reason. But she's not any good. Katie Lou Samuelson is too slow to play the 3 and isn't shooting the ball well enough to be on the floor at all. Dantas is better than Katie Lou, I think. But again, she's got like 2 things in her bag. One of them is the post up into the fade. The other is an open 3. She's not running the floor and doing everything like they need there or defending. Neither her nor Katie Lou can defend on the perimeter. So there are holes on the roster that an offseason could fix and that could make this legitimately a top flight team. In the meantime, they got to score and they don't have that much margin for error. So some of the foul calls might be a little extra frustrating at times. And you saw Clark a little frustrated with them after this game. And I think, the coach, it's time for her to say something about it as well. Even if she's not going to do it during the game, after the game, at some point in time, like she stood up early in the year when Clark was getting roughed up a little bit. And now I think it's time for her to make it a point so that the refs are blowing the whistle either the other way or a little bit more on the drives Caitlin is making, because the teams are going to try to force her into the tougher baskets.